Hi out there in the internet world on Facebook land or wherever you're joining from. I am Sabrina Walker Hernandez and it is Thursday and I got to post my blog and I am going to give my blog summary to you. And I do these videos because I send out a weekly blog, as y'all know. Hopefully you know. And actually this is I'm going into year 2, the first day going into year 2. So I only first week going into the next year. So I only have like 51 more to go before it's 2 years consecutive. I know you're probably tired of hearing about that, but hey, there's something to be said about consistency and I am here for it. So anyway, I'm so excited. I do this every week and I do this because I know that a lot of nonprofit professionals are very busy. And so to get the opportunity to sit down and read something that's not a report or an email or from your board or something to do with your staff or trying to do a grant application or whatever it is, you don't want to take the time to do that. And so I thought, you know what? I can do these videos and I can do these quick summaries. Even if my blogs are 3 to 5 minute read, hey, that's 3 to 5 minutes that you can have back. You can listen to these summaries as you're driving home, in your car, you know, during the lunch hour, during dinner hour, whatever time. Just go on my YouTube channel and listen to them, or you can find them on my Facebook or on my LinkedIn. I post them very conveniently. So hey, that's why I do this. I do this to support you. And so this week, you know, I'm a part of a lot of groups, and I also have my group, Nonprofit Professionals Exchange. If you're not a member, you should join my Facebook group. And people, the question that I get or have gotten in the last couple of weeks have been how to organize, how to onboard your board, and how to really organize an effective board orientation. I know that outside of fundraising, board development seems to be the next biggest challenge for nonprofit professionals and people who are the founders or executives or CEOs of their nonprofit. And so I put this together. I will say I was inspired by those questions, and I was like, hey, I know a little bit about that, so let me see what I can do to help the people out. So here we go. You've recruited these board members, you voted them in, and what do you do next, right? So actually it's time to notify them that they've been elected to the board, and you need to schedule your board orientation. So this is a critical step in the board building process. As a part of leadership development, new board members need to be acquainted with your organization so they can speak intelligently about it. Imagine that you got this job and they didn't give you an orientation, or they didn't give you a job description, and they didn't give you anything. How long do you think it's going to take you to acclimate to what's going on and what's needed? You'll be a little bit frustrated about that, and you'll kind of be sitting on the sidelines, not giving all that you got, because you're trying to put all the pieces together as far as what is my role here and what is my responsibility. And so that's going to leave people a little frustrated. And so if you're not conducted orientation, that's how your board members feel right now. And so let me just encourage you to do that. And if you never conducted one, consider having every member of your board of directors go through your orientation. In fact, some organizations hold a orientation annually for all their board members, and you can consider that as well. But for sure, you need to be holding a board orientation. So if you are currently holding an orientation, consider having your board development committee and the executive director co-facilitate it together. You can also have other key staff there and other board members take part in the orientation as well. You can ask current board members to attend. All are part of the orientation for a refresher, and so they can meet the new people that's coming on to the board. So what does the board orientation actually look like? So oftentimes the board orientations are held at your nonprofit office. This is strategic because this allows them to come in and see the work environment. It also allows them to come in and see the clientele that you serve. If your corporate or your executive offices or is located where you do the service, they can get a sense of the facility, a sense of your programming. They can take a tour. They can do that. So that's the first thing. The next thing is you are going to want to have a timed agenda. Okay, no more than 90 minutes. 90 minutes is exactly an hour and a half. That is a good enough time to get your orientation done, especially if you have a timed agenda. And if you actually go to the blog, you can download a timed agenda that was a sample time agenda that you just take my logo off, put your logo on, and make the assignments to your board, or you conduct it if it's your first one and it's just you. Whatever it is, it's already done for you. And then you're going to have a board manual that they should be given. Now, this manual, back in the day, I would actually have a notebook, put tabs and dividers and do all that stuff. Nobody wants that hard copy of a manual anymore, except for Sabrina. Okay, I do love myself a manual. I finally migrated to electronic. So we're talking PDFs. Where you can send it. You can set up a Google Drive for your board, and they can access this information for board orientation there. So it's shared and send everybody the link, but it is electronic. And what you need to include in your board manual, you need to include your mission and vision statements, your organizational history, your bylaws and all your policies, your strategic plan, your financial summaries. That means what is your current operating budget? What is your annual operating budget? Where are you at currently? Your monthly financial statements. Any copies of your most recent audit or 990. That's what it means by financial summary. You need to have your fundraising plan in there. You have to have your meeting process and calendar. What do I mean by that? Well, my board meets monthly, and we meet on the third Wednesday every month at 6 p.m. And here are the dates for the next scheduled meetings. However, we do not meet in August because of summer vacation, or we do not meet in whatever month that is that's for your board. And in December, we have our annual meeting, and traditionally the annual meeting is held in this location because it's also a party. But whatever that is, that's what you're going to be sharing with them. You're also going to have committee information. Have the committee job descriptions in there, and ask them which committee would you agreed are agreeing to serve on. You're going to have a copy of your organizational chart, your annual report, and any marketing materials that you have for your organization. And more importantly, you're going to have board job descriptions in there, and as well as board expectation forms. And so these board expectation forms are what you're actually going to collect from them, because that's going to be at the end of your orientation, because that form actually says, I am going to serve on this many committees. I am going to raise this much money. I am going to personally give this much money. And that's their commitment to you. And you're going to take that commitment form, and you're going to keep that commitment form on file. And during the board meetings, and maybe not every board meeting, you will refer back to that form. How I did that was our board actually came up with a system, a competitive system, and quarterly I would report on the numbers and where they at and what they said. But if your board is not going to do that, then you bring it up biannually. I would say bring up the commitment form biannually. And there's also a copy of the commitment form linked to the blog as well. And if you honestly don't want to go back and read the blog, if you just go to my website at supportingworldhope.com, I have a VIP resource library, and it has all these documentations in there and more. It has marketing documentation. It also has resource development documentation, as well as board documentation. So, but we're getting back to the board orientation. Oh, let me just say, it also has the actual PowerPoint for the orientation already made for you. All you got to do is plug in your local information. So I try to give service here. So again, going back to the blog, more and more organizations, are realizing that a successful, sometimes they say a successful orientation can't be done in one single session. And so I would not say hold another meeting for orientation. That's not what I would do. I would think that you would consider having a phase 2 of the orientation with some less formal components, and those components could include board buddies, where you assign a veteran board member to sit next to a new board member at the first meeting, and calls the new board members before and after the meetings to check in on them to see if they had any questions or anything like that. I would also do orientation calls where veteran board members are assigned to set up calls with the new class of board members to review and answer questions they may have post orientation. And that should be done about 2 months after the orientation, after the in-person orientation, because what you're really trying to do is you're trying to see how you can improve the orientation and get their feedback. And it can go a long way in making them feel, acclimated and welcome during their first days as a part of the board. Ultimately, there is no right way to do an orientation, because you need to tailor it to your organization so that it's manageable and it makes sense for the person, for you, and for the organization. But it is very critical that you do an orientation, and it is very critical that once you do establish what is right for your organization, that you continue to tweak it. And so you need to get feedback from those that have gone through the orientation process, so that you can continue to get better engagement from your board of directors, and you can continue to educate them. And the more engagement you get from them, the more they're going to raise money. And so that is the key of what you're trying to make sure that your board members are engaged in the fundraising process. And that kicks off with a well-organized orientation. And again, let me just recap what is attached to this blog. You have copies of the job descriptions for your board members. You have copies of the expectation form attached to this, and you also have a copy of the time agenda for the orientation. You also, not attached to it, but if you sign up for my for email at my website at supportingworldhope.com, you will have access to the VIP resource library. And in that library, all those documents I just mentioned, but more than that, it's an actual PowerPoint for the orientation. All you have to do is take out my logo, plug in your history information, update it a little bit. Yeah, it's done. It is done for you. I aim to please. And the reason I do this, because I know you're busy out there. You're busy out there trying to make the world a better place. And so that is my job, to help you and to support you in that process. And so I am going to end this blog summary by saying that your mission matters. And I'm going to say it again. Your mission matters, and you deserve to have engaged board members. Your mission matters. You deserve to have all the support that you need as a nonprofit organization. Your mission matters, and as the executive director of this organization, you deserve the support that you need. And so again, your mission matters. And I am going to say, if you're not a member of, if you're looking at this and you're not a member of my YouTube channel, feel free, click on the subscription. You'll get these summaries every week. And again, I thank you for your time.